Two women were out scouting trails when they suddenly heard desperate cries from the bushes. Two Sacramento friends were out scouting possible trails for their running club in the sweltering heat of summer 2017. Then all of a sudden, a noise pulled the pair up short. From some nearby bushes, the runners both heard the most heartbreaking and piteous cries. But when the women went over to investigate further, they made an extraordinary discovery. While Sacramento may be the sixth biggest city in the state of California, it has no shortage of green spaces. Known as the City of Trees, the metropolis boasts the largest arboreal canopy to be found in the U.S. Furthermore, Sacramento has an extensive park system with more than 5,000 acres of parkland for its population to enjoy. As a result, Sacramento offers its 500,000 citizens plenty of opportunities to get out and about. And one resident who loves the great outdoors is a lady we know only as Kay, or her intriguing Imgur handle, CWM makes people cry in Scrabble. Kay runs her own running club, in fact, and she can often be found jogging around the city's many beauty spots. And to keep things interesting for the fellow members of her group, Kay regularly scouts out new running routes around Sacramento's wild places. So one hot day in June 2017, Kay and a companion found themselves preparing to do exactly that. The intrepid pair then took off into the great unknown to find a new challenge for their jogging club. At first, the exploratory run went without incident. However, something was about to happen that stopped the pair in their tracks and left them chilled. You see, as the runners approached a bush, all of a sudden they were alerted to pitiful cries coming from its interior. After hearing the distressing sob, the joggers immediately stopped their run to survey the scene and listen more keenly. It was then that the two women caught a glimpse of a small black creature crawling out of the bush's foliage. A closer look subsequently revealed that the dark mass was, in fact, a tiny newborn kitten. And investigating further, Kay and her friend soon discovered that the little fella was by no means alone. Yes, when the woman looked inside the bush, they discovered that the kitten was the adventurous one of 4. The babies had been huddled together in a kind of nest in the cool interior of the bush. Their mum was standing nearby, half hiding and keeping a nervous eye on proceedings. However, while her brood were friendly, it seemed like the adult cat was very weary of Kay and her running companion. Bearing in mind that it was the height of summer, the two joggers were now faced with a dilemma. You see, in recent days, temperatures had soared to 100 degrees Fahrenheit and stayed there. Kay and her friend then felt that the heat presented a significant risk to the cat family's well-being, and the duo were unwilling to leave the kittens and their mum's survival up to chance. But while the women knew that rescuing the babies would be easy, their skittish mother would pose more of a problem. So, faced with this hurdle, the runners needed to hatch a plan. When Kay arrived home that evening then, she posted about her discovery and subsequent dilemma on Facebook. Using social media, she reached out to a number of local animal rescue groups with the details of her feline family find. Eventually, a Good Samaritan from the stray cat welfare group Sacramento Feral Resources got in touch. Thankfully, they were able to point Kay in the direction of a woman who could loan her a humane animal trap to help rescue the bush babies and their mum. So the very next day, Kay and her friend went and picked up the trap. The two women then returned to the bush where they had found the kittens and began their rescue operation. And the first stage went smoothly. Yes, the pair were easily able to scoop up the babies as the friendly and curious kittens just walked straight up to them. Unfortunately, however, catching their frightened mum proved to be much more difficult. Originally, the women thought that they would be able to use the kittens as bait and simply wait for their mum to come to them. Sadly, it wasn't to be that straightforward. The adult cat was just too scared to approach. It was a long day for the rescuers as they waited patiently in temperatures that climbed as high as 109 degrees Fahrenheit. Understandably then, Kay and her friend were hot and tired when they left that evening. And while they happily went away with the kittens, sadly they hadn't managed to catch the mama cat. But the pair felt that leaving the family together would have been a mistake. In fact, later that night, Kay posted on Imgur about the decision to leave the cat mum behind. She wrote, "We had disturbed the nest so much, making sure we had all the kittens, that if we left then, Mama would have moved them and we wouldn't have found them again." What's more, the pair had left the humane trap in place at the site. The hope was that they would come back to find the adult cat captured. But when they returned the next day, Kay and her companion were to be disappointed. Eventually, however, the compassionate woman's determination paid off. Speaking to the feline fancying website Love Meow in late June 2017, Kay said, "It took 2 days of hiking out to where the trap was, 2.5 miles one way, morning and night. But I finally caught the mama cat." Now that the women were able to get a closer look at the adult cat, the ladies realised she was injured and distressed. The poor creature had a spiky piece of foxtail grass stuck in one of her eyes. As a result, Kay rushed her straight to the emergency vet. Unfortunately, though, there was nothing that the animal doctors could do to save the cat's eye, and it had to be removed. Consequently, the cat's cheeky rescuers gave her the nickname One-Eyed Sally, and they took her home to be reunited with her babies. And Kay and her friend had also named the cute kitten foursome Eeny, Meeny, Miny and Mo. Together, the women vowed to care for the clan until Mum and her babies were well and robust enough to go to forever homes. Back at home, though, Kay was to discover that the traumatised mum cat wasn't producing any milk to feed her brood. So to ensure that the kittens were able to maintain their growth, Kay began to diligently bottle feed them. In fact, the 4 kittens would need this one-on-one care for at least a month until they were big and strong enough to be offered for adoption. Kay, meanwhile, also got to work on winning One-Eyed Sally's trust. After Kay realised the mama cat in the house, Sally dashed straight off to hide under Kay's bed. But when the mum cat began to accept kitty treats from the human's hand, Kay felt like a breakthrough had been made. And although the animal remained under the bed, Kay began to think that perhaps Sally wasn't as feral as she had first believed. Before too long, One-Eyed Sally's behaviour started to slowly transform. Kay had begun a process whereby she would get the cat mum used to human contact. Starting out by just placing a hand near the animal, Kay eventually got to stroke Sally. And the foster mum explained to Love Meow that it wasn't long before Sally got used to being petted. Kay said, "She purrs when I pet her now and will dart her head out from under the bed for treats." More importantly, though, the unfortunate feline began to put on some much-needed weight. Now that Sally was opening up, Kay felt confident that the adult cat would make a great pet one day. "We're looking for a barn home for her because of her eye." Kay's alter ego, CWM Makes People Cry and Scrabble, revealed on Imgur. "It turns out she's not feral. She was purring and rolling," she added. As for Eeny, Meeny, Miny and Mo, Kay soon began receiving adoption offers for the adorable kittens online. However, the foster mum waited until it was safe for the kittens to go off into the world on their own. And hopefully, in the long run, the kind-hearted jogger will be able to give all the cute cat family the happy ending they deserve. Please do not forget to share the video with your friends below.